So what's up, y'all? I hope everyone had a good weekend. There is some big news Friday for Star Trek fans. Friday, we had the Star Trek Discovery panel at San Diego Comic-Con. The new showrunner, Alex Kurtzman, was in attendance, along with a lot of the cast. And they showed off the new trailer for Star Trek Discovery Season 2. So we're just going to take a look at that now and just dive right in. By the way, I'm not going to be showing any actual footage because CBS has been really weird about people posting footage of Discovery on YouTube, so I'm just going to use some screenshots if that's okay with y'all. But we open with Michael Burnham mentioning that we have always looked to the stars to discover who we are, and in there was a message, a secret made of space and time, visible only to those open enough to see it. She's in an environmental suit, and there seems to be a blurry image of what might be some kind of alien. So more on the dialogue, which she was talking about in just a second. We cut to Captain Christopher Pike. This seems to be picking up immediately where Season 1 ended, with the Discovery and the Enterprise meeting each other. Pike is coming on board the Discovery, and it sounds like he's going to take over and be the new captain for Season 2. He cites a Starfleet Regulation 19, Section C, and that is a directive for him to take command of another ship when there is an imminent threat detected. This is kind of similar to Regulation 19, Article 14, which was brought up by Janeway, by the way, back on Star Trek Voyager in the episode Equinox. That also involved a captain being in command of another ship. That had to do with a combat situation where one ship is more tactically superior than the other, but kind of a similar situation. So good little continuity right there. Good job, Discovery writers. But Captain Pike explains that Federation sensors have picked up 7 red bursts over a span of 30,000 light years. And these red burst things are sending mysterious signals. So not really sure what the red burst is. Dave, my Tex-Trek podcast co-host, thinks that it might be connected to red matter and the Kelvin timeline somehow. We'll see, I guess. But yeah, whatever's going on with these red bursts, I think that's going to be the main arc of the season. 30,000 light years is a very large area. That would take decades to go across at warp. So that's probably why they want Pike using the Discovery on this mission, so that he can have the spore drive and move around much more quickly. But there is some footage of some high-speed warp travel and some dangerous asteroid fields and a bunch of exciting action beats, people running around in environmental suits and explosions, and they're flying around in these spinny space pod things that kind of remind me of the starfighter Joey from Friends flew around in the opening of that shitty 1998 Lost in Space movie. But this is cool. It looks like a lot of fun. The special effects are gorgeous. We're seeing some really beautiful shots of starships that are just kind of just starship porn for people who are into this type of stuff. The people who are collecting the Eagle Moss ships and build models, and I'm in that crowd, so I love all of the shipist porn. Definitely an improvement over the ship shots we got in Season 1, which kind of felt dark, and the ships always looked small and just didn't have the the level of clarity and dynamic shots that I think that we will be getting in Season 2 if this trailer indicates anything. And it's good to see a character beat here between Detmer and Owasakin, I think is her name. It's hard to remember these characters' names because they don't say or do anything on Discovery. I always compare them to like Mr. Kyle on the original series. And I hope that they flesh them out and just give them more to do. I do see Arium and Reese and Bryce all seem to be present and accounted for here. So a lot of those bridge officers we saw in Season 1 are coming back. We have Tilly yelling about the power of math, and Pike and Burnham discuss Spock, so we're definitely going to get into Spock in this season. Sounds like he took leave from Starfleet because he found something in these signals that he could not explain. So I guess he went off to investigate that. But wherever he is, Burnham believes he is linked to these red bursts and that he needs help. So it sounds like the story of season 1 will be investigating these red bursts, trying to figure out what these strange signals are, and trying to find Spock, because he went to investigate it, and I guess he disappeared and didn't come back. That's what I'm taking away from this trailer anyways. Oh, and Tig Notaro is in the trailer, so we finally get to see her and her character. And I'm glad to see that her trademark dry humor, that kind of deadpan delivery, will be utilized on the show. She is Chief Engineer Denise Reno of the USS Hiawatha. And I don't know how many episodes she's going to appear in, but I'm really hoping that she ends up transferring over to the Discovery and serves as the Chief Engineer on board. After all, we don't have a Chief Engineer on Discovery. I know some people seem to think that might be Stamets' position, but the writers have confirmed that Stamets is just Chief Engineer of the Spore Drive. There is another more traditional Chief Engineer on board that is in charge of the entire ship, so kind of like Geordi or Scotty. And I'd like to see Engineer Reno take that spot. The trailer kind of wraps up and closes with Pike saying, "Wherever our mission takes us, we'll try to have a little fun along the way." And so he definitely kind of seems to be like the anti-Lorca. This is going to be a very different captain than we had in season 1. And I am looking forward to seeing a bit more of like, because Pike is cut from the same cloth as Captain Kirk, so he's going to be more like the space cowboy, man of action type, who he's going to be front and center in the missions. He's going to go on the away teams, and he's going to be where all the excitement is. And, it'll really help the show feel different from season 1. So there's definitely a kind of a more lighthearted, more emphasis on adventure and science and space exploration type stuff. And Captain Pike even uses the line, "hit it," which I guess is a variation of Bruce Greenwood's Pike saying "punch it." So I'm wondering if this will be a recurring line, like Picard saying "engage." Maybe I'm reading too much into that. But I pretty much love every moment of the trailer, except for the very silly scene tagged on at the end with Linus the Saurian sneezing on a guy. It felt very Jar Jar or Keenser to me. In fact, we just had an alien snot joke with Keenser in Star Trek Beyond, so I don't know why they're using that again. A bit of double dipping there. But I do want some levity in my Star Trek, so that's kind of a traditional thing, going all the way back to the original series. So as long as most of their attempts at some lighthearted humor beats work better than this, I'll be okay. And so I guess that's kind of my theory on the season. So we know that Spock went to investigate the Red Burst, and it could be something to do with kind of a higher power, some weird godlike alien entity. The reason why I say that is because a while back, the showrunners Gretchen Berg and Aaron Harberts, or then showrunners, I should say, they have left the show. They were fired, but it kind of sounds like the show's in better hands now, so that's all good. But they said that the show would explore kind of a science versus faith type thing in season 2. And I could see how some of the stuff in the trailer might be playing into that. Spock going out to make contact with a mysterious intelligence is a lot like what happens between him and V'ger in the motion picture. But looking at something that could be, a type of science versus faith story, Spock's half-brother Sybok had a similar connection to an advanced being in Star Trek V. I know that is not the most popular Star Trek movie, but why do the sons of Sarek keep having these weird connections with these godlike entities? But the creature that Burnham encounters in the opening of the trailer, that's when she mentions that people have looked to the stars and that there's a message there for those who could see it. It kind of sounds like the movie Prometheus about like engineers that came and like designed humans, or kind of like an ancient alien race that might have like some godlike properties. But the creature that Burnham sees the profile, it kind of looks like there might be wings, so it could be an angel-like alien that maybe was present on Earth at one time and inspired that angelic iconography in Earth religions. But who knows? This is just real heavy speculation on my part. I could be way off. It was confirmed that Wilson Cruz's character, Dr. Hugh Culber, will be returning, though. And they didn't say how that was going to play out, but, if his consciousness still exists, spoiler alert for season 1, but if his consciousness still exists after his death in season 1, if there's some essence of Dr. Culber in the mycelial network or something, that leaves the door open to play with possible afterlife type questions. I don't want Star Trek to get all metaphysical, but I think there is some room in that territory to tell some neat science fiction stories. But yeah, that's pretty much all for the trailer. We did get some other information, though. We know that Rebecca Roman will be in the show as number 1 on Pike's Enterprise, so she is best known for playing Mystique in the X-Men movies before that character was recast to be younger, and they brought on Jennifer Lawrence. But Rebecca Roman will be playing number 1, the female first officer of the Enterprise. So I'm guessing with Pike taking over Discovery, number 1 will be left in command of Big E. She'll be on the Enterprise, and hopefully the Enterprise and Discovery might cross paths again, later in the season, have some big mission that they have to pull off together. Something like that could be a lot of fun. Ensign Mount did say he was going to be in all 13 episodes of the season, so he's definitely going to be the captain of the Discovery until the season finale. And who knows, maybe longer. It might be something that plays out into season 3. I don't think we'll be seeing Spock until towards the end of the season, maybe the last episode. I think that's kind of what the goal of the season is going to be, is these characters to investigate these weird anomalies and find Spock. So he's kind of the MacGuffin moving the story along. They're going to be looking for clues and stuff. We did see Burnham actually walking around in Spock's quarters, and there's a couple of Easter eggs in there. But she was, looking at, I guess, for clues to help figure out where he might have gone. I love that there is such an emphasis on science and exploration in this trailer. It's going to be very different from the darker, grim war story we got in season 1. And, flying around in those pods and having all the explosions and stuff, it did feel a little Kelvinish. It felt like the Kelvin movies a little bit. But I'm okay with that. As long as there is some substance to go along with the heightened action-adventure spectacle stuff, we'll be getting some really cool, fun, entertaining Star Trek. As far as, non-Discovery related Star Trek news to come out of Comic-Con, we did learn that in the month of December, we'll be getting 4 little short films that tie into Star Trek Discovery. These are going to be called Short Treks. There's going to be one on Mud, one on Tilly, one on Saru, and one on a new character. TrekMovie.com also did an interview with showrunner Alex Kurtzman and Heather Kadin, who is the president of Kurtzman's company Secret Hideout. It's a pretty short interview, but they talk a little bit about these shorts, and they seem really open to doing more experimental type formats like this. They said they can do a lot of different types of content besides just doing hour-long TV episodes. They mentioned that there's a conversation going on about a potential animated show, but it doesn't sound like that has evolved into anything more than just a conversation at this time. They didn't want to talk about the possible Picard or Khan spin-off TV shows that there's been rumors about, but they did say that any potential show at this point in time, anything they might be creating, it's all going to be on CBS All Access. So something with like these short treks, I don't know what that means for viewers outside of the United States where those will be available. But I kind of like the idea for, here in the United States, for everything they're doing, any additional shows we might get in the future, everything being available on the same streaming service as Discovery. But I'll be sure to post a link to that interview as well as a link to the actual trailer. Please be sure to let me know if you liked the trailer or didn't like it, what you're excited to see in Season 2, what you hope that they're doing. And anything else, any other cool stuff that came out of Comic-Con? Because I had a blast this weekend following some of the announcements and the trailers and stuff. So definitely a lot of cool stuff on the horizon. And I'm glad that Star Trek got the showcase it deserves in Hall H and had its chance to shine. So hopefully we'll have a strong mainstream viewership in season 2 of Discovery, and we can get all these Star Trek spin-offs and just have a new golden age of Star Trek. It's a very fun and exciting time to be a Star Trek fan. A lot to look forward to. Please keep checking out our podcast episodes. Me and Dave have been stranded in the Mirror Universe talking about the Mirror Universe episodes and comics and whatnot of Star Trek. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on there, and follow that to see how we made our escape back to the Prime universe, and we'll have some more Discovery updates as they come out. And until next time, live long and prosper, y'all.